What's up guys, Ryan here with another video, and today we're answering some questions from the Discord group. If you haven't already joined it, you're missing out because there's lots of good stuff happening in the brand new lead-based Discord. We're having people talk about starting their lead generation agencies, learning how they can generate leads at a lower cost, and our team is there to converse and have a jolly good time. So again, join if you haven't already, but today's question comes from the lead-based group. I'll pop up on the screen here. Question is, how do I manage and retain my lead generation clients? So that's sort of a complex question, and in some ways it kind of feels in a way like obvious, like you want to deliver them good leads so they keep buying. That's kind of like the simple answer to that question, but there are a lot of things that I do to make sure that I'm not only retaining my lead generation clients that are purchasing leads off me, but I'm actually scaling with them. So let's jump into, I've written down 5 different tips here that you can use to have better relationships with your clients and make them more money, which is in turn going to make you more money as a lead generator. So let's jump into it. So the very first thing I do when I close a client, maybe another video will be on my actual closing script that I use for getting lead generation clients, but at the end of the day, I do a lot of listening and I don't do a lot of selling. I am not a pushy salesperson, but I am somebody who I think listens really well and likes to build trust with people because I want to have a good relationship with them rather than just selling them on a package of leads and then, it not working out in the long term. So the first thing that I like to do is really listen and ask for feedback on what my clients think is their ideal lead. So I usually send them an onboarding document where I ask them, hey, what age is your lead? What does your lead like to do? What is your lead looking for? All these types of questions. But you can also just ask them, hey, what's your ideal lead look like? Are they a 50-year-old person from California who is looking to finance their next vehicle? So kind of getting a sense of what's worked well for them in the past and what their ideal client looks like. Also asking them if they've worked leads before. That's a very important question that I ask, and kind of getting feedback on, if they have purchased leads, what was their experience like? And if they haven't, then what type of leads are they working now? Because if they've purchased leads before and maybe had a bad experience with it, that's an opportunity for me to tell them all about why my leads are going to be different, how we text verify leads, how we sell leads exclusively, how we replace any bad leads, letting them know that we're going to kind of solve the issues that they've maybe faced in the past. And if they haven't worked digital leads before, I want to set proper expectations for them because they might be expecting leads to be closer to maybe a referral that they've worked in the past, when we really need to tell them, hey, a digital lead is not going to be the same as maybe a referral lead that you work. It's going to take a bit more time to chase these leads down. You're going to have to do lots of follow-up, but we can turn this on and off like a tap. So if you want 10 leads a day, we can get that for you. And it's going to be a huge thing for your business if you're basically able to just turn leads on and off with us on any given week. So number one, again, to recap, is ask for feedback from those clients. Ask them what their ideal lead looks like, ask them if they've worked leads before, and then you can get a sense of what they're looking for, and they're also going to feel heard in that situation. Number two is you want to make things as easy as possible for your clients. You don't want to have a bunch of back and forth emails with them. You don't want to have a bunch of stuff going on. So there's a few ways that I like to do that, and some of the software that I'm going to talk about, I'm actually going to make another video on. There's going to be my software stack that I use for managing clients and sending leads. But two things that I like to do is I like to use Stripe to send them a payment link, and I like to use Lead Prosper to deliver leads to them. So Lead Prosper is a tool that allows you to essentially send leads into a system, and then it's going to round robin those leads out to your lead buyers based on different criteria. So if you have 10 different people buying leads, Lead Prosper is a way to put them into that hopper and then distribute those leads exclusively to each buyer. That makes it really easy to put a new buyer into Lead Prosper, and then they just start getting leads pretty much right away. And Stripe is another great payment platform where you can just send somebody a link, they pay it, and then you can start sending them leads right off the bat. Another way you can make things easy is do the follow-ups for them. So using Go High Level, you can have email and text automations, reminding the lead to get in contact with your client, asking that lead if, did they ever get a hold of you? How was your experience? Hey, if you haven't talked to them yet, maybe have a conversation with your recommended client. Just making all these things you can do just help make that client's life easier. That's going to be a huge piece of the service you're offering. It's not just selling leads, but it's really trying to support them in their process. That way they can just pick up the phone, hammer the dialer, and just try and get a hold of those leads and try and make sales. So that's number two, making their life as easy as possible. Number three is you want to set up a weekly meeting, at least at the start. I usually like to do this for the first month or two with the client. Sometimes they don't even want to do that because they just like your leads and they don't want to talk to you, which is great. But if a client is kind of looking for a little bit more of a hands-on approach, or maybe you're going into a new niche, I like to do a weekly meeting. Again, they feel heard. You can ask them for feedback on the leads. You can look at the leads together and say, hey, which of these leads worked really well and which of these leads were total duds, and can I stop targeting? Because that lets the client know that you're not just giving them leads based on whatever you get they kind of get. They feel a bit more heard, you get great feedback, and then they feel like also they're getting a lead that's catered towards what they're looking for. Number 4 is I like to over deliver, especially on my first several orders, and I replace any bad leads. So this is another kind of thing that makes the client's life easier. Is when somebody orders 100 leads from me, I tend to over deliver by 10 to 15%. Obviously I need the margin to do that, which I usually have on the lead costs, but I like to over deliver because there's always going to be around 10 to 15% of leads that are just fake leads or dub leads or don't qualify for whatever reason. They filled out the quiz, but their information wasn't actually correct. So I like to over deliver. That makes the clients really happy because then they don't have to worry about requesting those replacements as quickly. I don't think many people actually do this. It's just something that I do because I usually have enough margin to work with. That just sets up a longer term relationship. You can always, like, over time, maybe pull that back to from going from 15 to 10% in terms of over delivery. It's really just an expectation that I have that 10% of those leads are going to be fake or they're going to be duds. Even if I put in all these different things like text verification, there's going to be ones that don't qualify. And lastly, maybe it's been a month. I've delivered a few orders to a client. We've had these weekly meetings. I've got feedback. Now I'm getting it pretty dialed in, making 40 to 50% margin or even 30% margin on lead sales. And let's just say they bought 100 leads a week. I've sold them 400 leads. Now I really want to start to think about how can I scale with this client? How can I really help them grow their business? And that's a question that I ask them. It's like, how can I help you grow your business? How can we scale this? How many leads could you manage? When would you have to start hiring somebody to manage these leads? Because that gets somebody thinking, if they're an independent salesperson or maybe they have a team, gets them thinking, hey, I'm making a 5-to-1 ROI on this. I can just hire more people and make way more money. So I like to ask them, how many leads can you handle? I usually ask that at the start, but again, after a month of success, hey, what can we scale this to? What could you handle? Can I help you? Can I refer you to like a call center, which I have access to personally? Can I help you get more callers? Can I help you manage these leads better? How can we get this from 400 to 4,000 leads per month? That's a really important question. Again, because there are clients that might buy from multiple lead vendors, but I have found that usually a client is going to want to focus on their best lead vendor and scaling with them. So if you can be that best lead vendor, that's going to allow you to scale, hopefully 10x with a client. And again, hopefully you don't have to go out and get 20 different clients. I prefer to have 2 or 3 that can really scale with me. There's a little bit more risk there because if one of them falls off, I do lose a lot of revenue. But that's why I like to maintain these strong relationships with the lead generation clients that I do have. So those are my 5 tips. I'm going to recap them right now. Ask for feedback from your ideal clients. You're going to make it easy for them. You're going to set up weekly meetings. You're going to over deliver and replace bad leads, and you're going to ask them what it would take to scale or how many leads that they could take. That's it for today. Hopefully that video is helpful for you guys when you're getting that first client and you want to make sure that you maintain that relationship with them. So that's it for today, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.